Oh, good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? So Alex had a good one last night with the Navy down 40-20, getting two late touchdowns like in the last 2 minutes to cover that spread. They did pass the ball well, so I was kind of impressed with there. Let's take a look quickly at the lines. Las Vegas Insider, it's 10-11 and go. Let's see what has moved. Starting with Minnesota -5, down from 7. 39.5 hasn't moved. I know the quarterback in Illinois was questionable, so we'll take a look at injuries in a minute. Let's get the line. CMU 13 and 59 really hasn't changed. Miami of Ohio 7 and 44.5, 45, that down from 46. Ole Miss 16 against Auburn, moved from 14. 55, that hasn't moved. Michigan still 7 and 49 you could get. So that's calming down. Now it's windy here, at least it was yesterday, but Michigan plays in a bowl. That's 200-300 feet in the ground. I don't think the wind's going to bother it. So not quite sure why the number's down to 49. I don't see it as a low scoring game. I don't see these teams with power defenses, more better offenses. Texas 15.5, down from 16, and over under a 49, down from 50. Coastal Carolina is, let's call it 12. It was 12.5. It didn't really move. And over under 57. That really didn't move. Oklahoma, Kansas. That's my game. Oklahoma's 9.5 and 65. So that tells me Gabriel is going to play, which definitely makes the game a much better over. However, I was listening to one of these BetMGM. Don't ever bet with MGM. Their odds are horrible. And the guy's like, oh, you got to take Oklahoma and lay the points. And I'm like, but this isn't the same Oklahoma team. It's not the same Kansas team. And Oklahoma's defense just let up 50 points 3 games in a row, basically. How are they going to stop Kansas? Their backup quarterback, Bean, was very good against TCU. So I'm struggling to find out why Oklahoma is favored in the game. Okay, Gabriel is playing. Okay, I'm still struggling. I might play a late overplay on this because with Gabriel, they should score. But against TCU, they held TCU in check pretty good. So I think Kansas has a defense also. It's not just a big offense because you hold TCU to 38 looks impressive considering what they did to these other, like Oklahoma, they put up a 55 on. But we'll see. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Miami 8 and 48, up from 7, maybe 7.5, and the over up to 48 from 46.5. Buffalo 17-47, hasn't moved. Ball State 9.5, 47.5. Went from 46 to 47. Cal 15-47, let's call it, up from 14.5. We'll keep it. It was 15-48. We'll keep it there. Alabama, Tennessee. Alabama's now looks like 9 you could get if you want Tennessee. Over under 66.5. 67. We got it in at 65. That's our free one, is go over in the game. And now with obviously Bryce Young playing for the over to go up. If he wasn't playing, this over would have went down to 60. So it's clear Bryce Young is playing, which really this will be a game in the 40s, both strong offenses, and that's our free play, is go over in this game. Absolutely. Texas State and Troy. Troy 16. Where's Troy? Troy. Oh, here it is, 16 and 47. So it's down from 48. I mean, who's looking at this game going, well, Troy is kind of an under team, but I'm not betting this game a lot under to drive the line down. Syracuse 3 and 43. And where's that? Come on. Here it is. So it's 3.5, 44. We'll call it 43.5. NC State's quarterback's out, and they're a really good defensive team, as is Syracuse. So this is definitely a good under. Arc and BYU. Jefferson is playing BYU. Well, it moved from BYU -1 to Arc -1 back to BYU -1.5. So you can get Arc plus 7.5. Good play. And 66 is the number. I don't understand the over of 66. BYU doesn't light it up. Arc with Jefferson scores, and their defense is suspect, but BYU against Notre Dame didn't look like anything. Their quarterback's hurt, but not on the injury list, which is really strange. But I think I'd play Arc as the dog with Jefferson before I'm going over in the game, although both teams seem to be over type of teams. UAB Charlotte, UAB 23.5 and 65. That went up from 63. Oak State TCU, very good game. You could TCU goes to 5 and over under 68, and that really hasn't moved. A bit of betting on TCU makes Oak State really attractive, getting 11. This is one of those you can go over, you can dog it. It's this is, they went to Baylor and beat them, and there's no reason they can't go win at TCU. But it's such an explosive team. I think the over is a better play than the dog, but I think the dog's good in this game too. I got a couple of games this week where I love the over under, and I love the team. Ohio, Western Michigan. Western Michigan. Oh, this game's like a pick 'em. So we'll call Ohio -1.5. And over under 59.5, 60. So that's where it was, 60. I am confused by this spread. Ohio should be a big favorite in the game, and they're not. So I'm kidding. Western got killed by Eastern last week. Ohio's not bad. We'll have to check the quarterback. Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee. Western Kentucky is laying 8.67, and it went up from 66. Georgia and Vandy. This one I'm kind of watching. Georgia 38 and 57.5. I had it at 58. We'll call it 57.5 and 38. This is a tough one because I think they're playing such a weak team in Vandy, a weak defense, that they could put up upper 50s. Vandy gets 10 and your under's blown. This is the only type of game with Georgia that I'm a little bit afraid of going under. And then Georgia I like, but at 38, it's tough. But I think that's the best play in the game is to take them down to 32. And Alabama beat Vandy 55-3. So I think you're probably looking at a score like that for this game. So I'm a little bit leery to go under that. Georgia might really pound it, and because they've been getting like, oh, you're not that good this year, so they're out. But they've had injuries, which is one of the reasons. So I look for Georgia in a big win today. Mary and Indiana. Here it is. Mary's 11. Let's see. Mary's 1162. So it went from 1160 to 1161 to 11. So you're betting this game over. I'm not sure why. Toledo 8-62. Toledo went from 8 to 7.5 back to 8. Toledo's the better team, but I can't so balanced. Hard to play against them in this situation. But I think Toledo gets them. Eastern 3-65, we'll call it. And then 65. Half point line movement. Wisconsin 7-49.5 to MSU, Michigan State. This is a tough one. Wisconsin on the road's not good. They've been beating Z teams on a bunch of turnovers, but when they played like Ohio State's in a different league, we have to see. They got Iowa, they got Minnesota, they got, I don't know if they got, they played Ohio State, so I don't think they got Michigan if they got Michigan State, but they haven't shown me a lot. And when I look at their injury list, they've got to have 25 people on the injury list. It's like it takes you 5 minutes to read all their injuries. So I don't know what to do with them. I'm not comfortable on the road. Michigan State, they're weak. I don't like their coach who did. I don't know what he did last year. Now this year he's acting more like when he coached at Colorado when they were 2-12. So weak coach, good quarterback, good receivers. This is kind of a prove-it game. But some guy I heard on the radio saying how, the game of the year was against Ohio State. And I'm like, no, dude. The game of the year for Michigan State is Michigan. That's their game of the year. That's their championship game, not Ohio State. Michigan's Ohio State, not Michigan State, but Michigan State's Michigan. So don't be fooled there. That game they will be sky high, and there I would be afraid to take Michigan, especially if they lose today to Penn State. I don't think their defense is that strong, and Michigan State control the ball. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think this will be like an Ohio State game where they lose 52-0. I think this is competitive. They're a home dog, so I think they'll play. North Texas is 7-67. Yeah, that's what we got. James Madison 12.5, 67. Up from 10.5 and up from 66. Tulane 12.55. And that's really what it was. It's 12.54. These little 1 point total movements crack me up. Oh, yeah, we know it's let's move it up a point. Yeah, you're getting that much action that it moves up a point. Really? Okay. Arizona, Washington. I'll tell you how stupid these BetMGM guys are. One guy likes the under in this game because it's 72. If it went to 70, it wouldn't be. It's like bullshit. You cannot pick the score that closely, right? You can't. You look at the game. Here's how Teaserking, right? Washington over team, over defense. Arizona over team, over defense. Quarterbacks are healthy. Washington laying 14.5 over under. You could get down to 72. This is all over. You either tease it over or you don't play it. How do you go under in this game? Washington played UCLA to a 72. Is that what you're basing it on? It would be the same score? I mean, that's ridiculous. Arizona put up a 40 against Oregon. I mean, this is going to be a 90-point game. You cannot bet this game under. You can bet the Clemson game under or a team with a good defense like Georgia. How the hell can you bet this game under because it's 73? That's insane. You just don't play it. You don't fuck around betting an under on these two offenses with no defense. This is going to go up and down the field. Unbelievable. These guys are freaking. See, this is what they want you to bet on it, right? So they're trying to con you into betting this game under because everybody knows this is an over game. This is why I tell you don't listen to these morons. I do because I'm in the car and I need a laugh. And I'll listen and I go, this is insane. These people are freaking it. Well, it's like I do with the inflation and everything else, where the idiots don't know what inflation is. So you just kind of laugh, but it does frustrate you. Florida Atlantic laying 3, well, we'll call it 4, over under 55.5 from 56. You got, I'll give you the hint. It's 2 over teams. Enough said. South Alabama, 1751. That's what it was. Hasn't moved. Louisiana Monroe. I'm not sure if they're still a Z team. They played pretty well against Coastal Carolina. This game's at South Alabama. Let's call them a W, but close to a Z team. I still call them a Z team statistically, but they're probably getting a little better. But South Alabama should kill them. Florida LSU, who cares? Florida is 3 and 50.5. The only way I could possibly bet this game is under. Florida has no offense, no quarterback. LSU has no offense. They both are fairly good defensive teams. It's an under. I can't even play a team. Maybe LSU is the dog in the game, but that's about it. Southern Miss, 4.5, 53. The over went down from 55, but the 4.5 stays. Arkansas is a very live dog here, as they're the over team. Utah State, 12 and 45, up from 11, and 46 goes to 45. Colorado State's a Z team there. Purdue, 13.5, 56. We found from 14. Notre Dame, 16.5, 53.5. Where's Notre Dame? So they went from 17 to 16.5. Heavy Stanford money going there, and 53.5. I don't know. Notre Dame's more of an under team. Good defense. Quarterback's okay. I love the tight end. Stanford, they're kind of an over. It's a hard call. I wouldn't be betting Stanford here, that's for sure. Memphis, the East Car laying up to 6 now from 5. That spread's been going up. And over under 16.5, up from 59. It should be an over game. Mississippi down to 3 against my Kentucky team. Not sure why. And over under 50.5, up from 49. Definitely an over team. Mississippi State scores. Kentucky's quarterback's playing, so they will score a lot too. So you can tell the line movement, like you can see in the Texas game or Oklahoma game. It's up to 9.5, but the over jumped to 6.5. Well, that was 9, so that moved maybe a half point. But obviously, Gabriel's playing, and it's a nice over, depending on Gabriel's condition. The guy had a massive concussion. Is he ready to go? Is he ready to go the whole game? But I'm still struggling why Oklahoma's a 10-point favorite. I mean, especially their backup quarterback's fine. It's not like, it's not like he's Teddy Bridgewater or anything. All right, Clemson, 4.5. Up from 3.5, and 50.5, 51. We'll leave it at 51. Definitely Clemson in this game. USC Stanford, game of the day. We've got this game big, laying 3.5. Over under 64.5, 65. Started at 59.5, 60. And then it jumped up to all the way to 65, and then it stopped. So it hasn't gone any higher. A few injuries to USC, but they've been the same injuries they've had. Utah is going to apparently be in all black and in a whiteout or a blackout or whatever you want to call it at Utah. Look for an extremely high-scoring game here. My friend wanted to take SC as the dog. I said, no. This is over, not dog. This isn't tease the dog. I don't think USC's defense going to handle Utah off of a loss and a must-win, losing to UCLA. So, but this should be in the 90s. Duke, North Carolina 7 and 68.5, up from 67. I'm not sure this game gets over. They played Miami 27-24. Miami with Van Dyke threw for 400 yards. They picked him a couple times too. North Carolina's defense is much better. This isn't against App State where it went 100-99. This is Duke, who doesn't really score much. I don't see this as an over at all, and I don't know why this is going over to 68. I do like North Carolina here, but I don't like the game over. New Mexico, 38.5 against New Mexico State. New Mexico State's the Z team. New Mexico is an under team. They do not score. Hard to lay 7 with New Mexico. Hard to take it with New Mexico State. Washington State, Oregon State. Oregon State laying 3 and over under of, let's call it 52, down from 52.5. Oregon State's down to 3 from 4. Oregon, I would say Chase Nolan's not playing. He's hurt with the neck. It's not the type of injury that you can take a shot for really and play football. The knee you can kind of numb. I don't know, you're numbing the neck. So if he doesn't play, it's definitely an under. Washington State, strong defense. And Oregon State showed you against USC. They got a strong defense, or at least it was the matchup. So I look for this game to be low scoring, not 100 points. The Air Force in Vegas, Air Force is 10. That's where it was. And 50. That's where it was. Vegas's quarterback's out. That's why they've been scoring with him, without him. We'll have to see what the backup looks like. San Jose State, 7.5. We went all the way up from 6 to 7 to 8 to 8.5, back to 7.5, 47 from 48. Now, keep in mind, San Jose State's been playing really well, and Fresno State lost Hainer, the All-American quarterback, breaks his ankle, and they go lose to Connecticut. And last week they did nothing. So, big shot on San Jose State today. I mean, what's Fresno State going to do? Their backup's terrible. And last but not least, Nevada is 6.5, 51. That surprisingly went up in an under game. So 60, I'm running to bet Nevada, Hawaii over. Why are they out of their fucking minds? So let's go to, well, we could go to injuries, but I think we already know the answer. Obviously, and really, I'm not going to go through everything. I just want to go through the key games. So Alabama, well, let's stop at Oak State. Let's see, any key game. Utah wide receivers, no big deal. Yeah, Brumfeld's out for Vegas. UCLA's off. Tulane's quarterback's out for the year. Iberta, but I don't think he's their main quarterback. And you might be the running quarterback. That's the problem. They run their quarterbacks, they get hurt, and they're fucked because they don't have. What are you going to do for quarter? You can't replace the quarterback like you can replace a running back. Let's see. TCU, now they're fine. Nothing. They can have them both quarter. Well, they don't play. Texas wide receivers out for the year, but that's in August. See, when I see August injuries, I don't even look because they've obviously been playing without them, so it's not a loss. But it does show you that, Texas, it's Oklahoma we're looking for. Tennessee, a defensive back's questionable, possible suspension, and then another DB's out with upper body, and so that's good for the over. Temple, Syracuse, Stanford, SMU. Still a good call, Alex, on that. On taking Navy. Navy's passing the ball, so I asked if they get down, what are they going to do? And they were down 40-20. And they threw the ball in the last 2 minutes, forced them to punt, and then scored again with like 10 seconds left. So they covered. They made themselves look good, but SMU lit them up pretty good when they needed it to get up 40-20, and then they just cruised it. So you got backdoored by Navy passing the ball in the last minute of the game, 70 yards. Let's see. South Alabama, they're healthy. Let's go. All right, let's go to Oklahoma. Penn State, wide receiver questionable. He'll play. Tight end, yeah. So they're healthy. Oregon State out. Nolan's out with the neck, which really makes Washington State under a huge play. And I already anticipated that. Again, with the neck, it's not the same. It's not like a hamstring. You can shoot up for it. Oregon, they're not playing. Oak State, they're fine. A wide receiver's out with the wrist. That's already. Oklahoma, Gabriel, questionable with the head. So they're not giving me that. The line going over is giving me he's playing, but he's still questionable with the head. He's not like the others said in or probable or out. So it's still probably a game time decision, I would guess, if they're not giving me that. The bettors are assuming he's playing. I'm wondering why Oklahoma's favored in the game with that defense. So you can't play an over defense in this game. Now, Kansas is an even defense. They actually have a better defense. They have a better offense, and they have a better defense than Oklahoma. They played TCU well and went in Iowa State and beat them 14-11. So what am I missing that Oklahoma's now a 9.5-point favorite in this game? What am I missing? I played Kansas in the 15 thinking at best case, Gabriel plays, and at the best case, it's a 40-37 game. I mean, Kansas is going to score their points, but I think their defense is better. Holding TCU to 31, I think, is a better thing. Hi, G. Good morning. Let me know if you have any questions. Did you email me? I haven't checked my emails yet. I will check them soon. All right, so that's that. Let's see. What do we got? North Carolina. We got a DB. Who knows? Who cares? They had Nebraska, NC State. See, now Larry, their quarterback, is out indefinitely, upper body. That moves me to bet it under. Very strong defense. Their offense was okay, but not great. What do I got on NC State? Is a B team with an under. Syracuse is a B team. So you got two strong defenses playing each other, and you don't have their quarterback in Larry. That moves it to a under game because now the backup's in. How good is he? We don't know. They both have good defenses. And the over-under is only 44, so you go under 50. There you go. Navy, Missouri's off. Mississippi State, they're healthy. Ole Miss, they got a tight end out. Okay, who knows? Minnesota. Now, Minnesota, Ibrahim, the All-American running back, is probable with an ankle. He's been out. They haven't looked good. With him there, they get balanced. They'll run more. They're playing Illinois, and they're in 5, so he's obviously playing, but I knew he was playing anyway. He was probable. Over-under hasn't moved, 39.5. Now, the reason the over-under hasn't moved is we'll get to Illinois in a minute. Michigan State defensive tackle and he's are questionable for today. Their safeties suck. Their secondary sucks. Michigan tight end questionable, wide receiver questionable. I don't know what an LS is. Leap safety, left safety? I never heard the term. It's either a safety or a cornerback. I don't know what an LS is. But he's out for the season. So Michigan, really nothing new, just a wide receiver questionable today, but no big thing. Miami, 2 O-linemen are questionable, 2 wide receivers. His favorite, Restrepo, is out with the foot till November. That's why he's been hurting a little bit. He's finally getting in sync. And he keeps throwing the ball to these receivers that keep dropping them. Like, seriously, you got receivers that can't catch on the team with Van Dyke? So that's one thing that's been hurting them. Like, you think it's Van Dyke. No, it's the receivers aren't there. UMass, they're pathetic. Maryland, Marshall. Louisville, Cunningham's questionable. Their quarterback, but I don't think they're played today. This is next week. L-Tech's fine. LSU, I don't see my man on it, so that's okay. Boutte, he's the receiver. He's not on the list, so that's good. Kentucky, Levis, probable. So that's good. So that made me go over in the game. Kansas State, Kansas. Jay Daniels, quarterback, doubtful, but the backup's Bean. He's healthy. He's playing. A safety's questionable, but he'll probably play against Oklahoma. And that's it. And another running back's out, undisclosed, but he was out last week. So they play well against TCU. They almost had them beat. I think Kansas wins this game straight out against this wonderful Oklahoma defense, coached by a wonderful defensive coach. And he wishes he was back at Clemson. Iowa State, nothing. Iowa doesn't play. Indiana, they get a lot of wide receiver injuries at Indiana. That's why I wouldn't go over. Okay, Illinois, DeVito, quarterback. Now, he's their starter. Questionable Saturday with an ankle. He's still questionable. If he's out, and Ibrahim's playing for Minnesota. So this is Minnesota 5 over Illinois, 39.5 over under. You got two under teams. We got two B teams, both with very strong defenses. We went with them against Wisconsin, Illinois, and they shut them down to 7. This is a very good, almost think of it as Wisconsin defense. Minnesota with Ibrahim, good runner. So they're going to run the ball, which is going to run the clock, which is going to make it an Army-Navy game. This should be an under, especially if Illinois doesn't have their quarterback. They're going to run the ball. So it's going to be run versus run, good defense versus good defense. 40 down to 40, or going up to 46 to go under. There you go. So that's your play. Let's see. Georgia State, Georgia Southern. Everybody's healthy. Georgia. Now, what's the problem with Georgia? Okay, Carter, their defensive lineman, hurts a knee. He's out. Gilbert, their tight end's good. He's questionable. And then really Milton, the running back, he's pretty good, but they have another couple. Washington, a linebacker out. This could hurt their defense. Who knows? Again, they have so many players. I don't know if Washington's a starter or not. Some of these sites bold the starter, but I can't find those anymore. They've changed. And then a couple of offensive linemen have been out, and I think that's what's killing their running attack. You lose 2 O-linemen, it does make it hard to run, and probably takes a little bit of time for the backups to get comfortable. So that's probably what's been hurting Georgia offensively. Defense, they're just a little bit weaker, but they look for them to really put it in today. Fresno State, as we know, Hayner's out with the ankle. And without Hayner, they're a whole different team because the new coach doesn't know what he's doing, but he had Hayner. So me and you can coach with the Hayner. It's like coaching with Brady. I don't know. Just go out and do your thing. Florida State, linebacker questionable, defensive tackle questionable, wide receiver questionable, running back questionable, wide receiver out, linebacker out, O-lineman out, running back out. So you got a lot of key positions that are out, O-lineman and some defense. So I look for Clemson, 10 points, 17. They are looking much better. I don't like their quarterback, but they're designing plays where he's scrambling more, easier throws. He's still a terrible passer, but they're scoring. Their defense is very good. And from what I saw with Florida State against Wake and then Florida State against NC State, it's all Clemson here. Florida Atlantic, Florida International, nothing. Florida, cornerback, who cares? Eastern, East Carolina, Duke, wide receiver. Connecticut, a couple of running backs are out. They've started to look good. Now they've lost 2 running backs, so I don't know. Colorado, 2 running backs are both questionable today, and a tight end. Not that it matters. Coastal Carolina. Now here's Coastal Carolina. 3 running backs. One's doubtful and 2 are out. The one got hurt October 1st, October 9th, and October 12th. And then you wonder what's wrong with Coastal Carolina. McCall is great, but without the running, and I don't know how good these running backs are, but without the balance in the running, then they're keying on him, and that's why they're having trouble scoring. So be careful with Coastal Carolina with all these running backs. We'll have to check if they have another running back who's doing well. But as long as McCall, he's the straw that stirs the drink, so that's all you care about. Clemson, a defensive tackle with a kidney, and a running back, Pace, is out with an ankle. And that's really it. So they are very injury-free, Clemson. Cincinnati's quarterback's questionable, but they don't play today. Charlotte, who cares? A bunch of defensive backs, but don't know. CMU, nothing. UCF, really nothing. Cal, nothing. Buffalo, nothing. It's funny how some of these teams, nothing, and then Wisconsin's got 26 players. BYU running back, wide receiver probable, a DB questionable, a tight end questionable, and a running back questionable for today. So they go against Arkansas. They do have their wide receiver, and against Arkansas, the DB could be missed if he's prominent, and maybe the running back. I don't know. Bowling Green, nothing. BC, Boston College, I don't even know if they play today. Boise, I don't think they played. Baylor, well, they already played. Ball State, nothing. Auburn, they have 2 quarterbacks. One's questionable, one's out. That's been their problem. Ark State, running back was questionable. Arkansas, as we said, Jefferson is probable, and a wide receiver is questionable with an ankle. So that's really all they have. So they're fairly healthy. Arizona State, they're not playing. Arizona is the only thing. They got no injuries at State. Alabama, Bryce Young, questionable with the shoulder. We believe he's playing. The line went to 9. And this is like, if this is a Saturday morning thing, I don't know that it picks it up. That's the only thing. That's when you got to use the line today. Although it did tell us Chase Nolan at Oregon State was out, so it does give us some help. Air Force, wide receiver. They got wide receiver problems. They got 4 wide receivers. Well, 1 wide receiver, Wilson's out. Then they got 3 wide receivers, and they're all questionable. And this is probably why they're having trouble scoring is they got 3 wide receivers out, and they're running the ball. So this is their problem. So that's what we have there. Just 1 second. Okay, so let me check my email. Let's see if there's any questions. So what I like is if you want and ask me a question, and you go on, since you can ask me here, but what if I'm not here? Then you can simply go to the site, get the email. God, it's the phone from hell. It's like you pick up the wrong, like you're trying to get to the tab, and the tab. It's like if you catch it at the wrong spot. Let's see, anybody new? My buyers filed a case. What's this about? So some guy bought $75 and says he was charged twice. Okay, I don't know. I didn't charge him twice. I just, when you buy, you're charged. That's it. I don't have anything to do with it. So anyway, so again, the free play today is Kansas, Oklahoma, play Kansas plus the 15 or 15.5, and take Tennessee, Alabama over 66.5. So go over 60. I think it was 59 at the time that we did the show. So go over that. It looks like Bryce Young's playing by the line moving, and I'm not sure if Gabriel is playing, but let's say he is. I still like Kansas. Oklahoma's defense still sucks. So that's where I'm at. Anybody watch that poker cheat? That girl who cheated and called with Jack 4. So I'm going to give you my quick analysis, 2-minute analysis. So I see it on YouTube. I'm scrolling YouTube looking for economics or football. And she calls a guy's all-in bet with a Jack 4. And that's all she had. And the question is, how could she call? It doesn't make sense. If you ever played poker, even if you think the guy's bluffing, you've got to have something to call him with. So in other words, she thought he didn't even beat a jack. And the board was like 10, 10, 9, and 2 clubs. He had 7, 8 of clubs, and the flop comes 9, 10 of clubs and another 10. So he could have 3 10s, which would have made sense that he had 3 10s because he went all in on the turn, protecting against the flush, which would have made sense, that all-in bet, if you think about if you're a poker player. And she calls. And I'm looking, and I don't really see anything. I go, no, I don't think she's cheating. Then there's this one guy who's like analyzing it, and he's saying, what's going on? Did you do this right? And basically, he shows some older hands, right? And in an older hand, they have a side view, and she's got, it looks like a coat, something with writing on it. I don't know if it's a purse or a coat, and it vibrates. And in this hand, the guy who she's playing against has a full house, and she has, I don't know, she had a good hand. She could have called it. And all of a sudden you see this vibration, and I think her stomach vibrates and the shirt vibrates. You can see the vibration. I guess I'm the only guy that can figure this out. So she folds against the full house. So she made the correct call, which is fine. There was a pair of queens out there. I would have assumed a full house. I don't think she had a flush. But anyway, so she folds. And then in this hand, you can see she's kind of waiting, but she's not getting the vibration. The vibration is the cheat. If it vibrates, fold. If it doesn't vibrate, now you can't tell, then you call. There was a guy in the back room who's looking at the hole cards, and this is the problem with these show the hole cards. You shouldn't, they've got to be delayed a half hour. You can't show them live. So the guy is looking, there's a guy in the back room who I guess is her boyfriend or something. He cheated. He took 15,000 off her stack, like hers, but she didn't say anything. He admitted it after when they were starting to do it. So they're working in cahoots. He takes 15,000 from her. Why would he didn't go? Phil Ivey was in the game. Why didn't he take from Phil Ivey? He's got more money than God. Yet he didn't. So he takes 15,000, and they're in cahoots. So basically, he sees everybody's hole card. So he can see she's got him beat. So he doesn't buzz, and therefore she calls. And then and you can see the guy she calls like, there's no fucking way you can call with Jack 4 on that board, 2 clubs and a pair of 10s with a Jack 4. Even I could have had ace king. I could have had a pair. I could have had anything. Maybe if you had a pair of 3s and you thought I was bluffing, and I guess it's the same calling with the jack, but and they're trying to figure out where the cheat is, and the cheat is basically the cheat's basically it's basically the whatchamacallit, the buzzer, right? So if it buzzes, fold. If it doesn't buzz, you stay in, and that's what happened. So she cheated by not getting the buzz. And I don't know why nobody else can see this. It's very clear. She folds against the full house because she gets the buzz. She doesn't get a buzz in this hand. So really nothing happens. So you can't call her for cheating. But when he shows the other hand and the buzzer came and she folds against the full house, that's the tell right there. And nobody could, because I've been hearing about this story, and I finally was able, it's on YouTube, so I was able to see the hand, and it's just, it's clear and obvious. She was waiting for the buzzer. It never happened. And then she calls, and then she makes up these bullshit things, and she wins. And the guy is like in shock. Like, how the fuck did you call me with a jack all in? And I do know that all ins are bluffs most of the time because they're trying to get you to fold. What's the point of it? So I do know that happens. But as far as anything else, he could have had 3 10s. It was on the turn, not the river. Normally on the river's the bluff because you want to get the guy out. So on the turn, if you go all in, that's usually not a bluff. You're usually protecting. That's the protection. I got trips. I don't want the flush to come out. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting, but that's the key. It's basically that's what's happening. So with that said, so quickly going through the games, again, I think Oklahoma can win the game. Even if Gabriel plays, he's got a concussion. So let's say he plays. Jefferson's playing Arkansas with the concussion. I just think that Kansas is just they're potent offensively. They're defensively held TCU to 10 points and a half, which is incredible. Mini Illinois quarterback looks out. Penn State, Michigan. That's, to me, this is the tease the dog game. In this game, I think the game's even. I'm not. Michigan against Maryland is the only game you can really like. Iowa doesn't have an offense, but Michigan struggled offensively against Iowa, and they didn't struggle in the championship game with the other quarterback. That's what McNamara should be the quarterback, not JJ whatever. The other kid should be the quarterback. He lit up Iowa. He lit up Ohio State. And this guy, McNamara, is not, or whoever he is, this JJ guy, is one of these, I want to run the ball. And we all know what happens with that. So not the best quarterback to have because you've got a running team. Why would you want this guy running the ball when you need a quarterback? You don't need a guy who can run. He's not very good. So I think Penn State can win the game, but I definitely like the points. This is definitely a tease the dog. Now, if this was Ohio State, I would be on Ohio State, but you wouldn't see Ohio State laying 7 to anybody. Even Notre Dame, they were laying 17. Auburn, Mississippi, I don't know. Maybe it's an under. Auburn's so weak, good defense. Mississippi, I don't know what they are. They are an A team, so maybe they get the win, but they're laying 16. Real tough. Iowa State, Texas. I think Texas will be flat. The big Oklahoma 49-0, and here comes Iowa State with this real strong defense. What do you do with that? Texas is going to have a hard time scoring. They held Kansas to 14. You got to understand, and they shut them out in the second half. This is a strong, strong defense. You've got to pay attention. Kansas is lighting everybody up, and then all of a sudden they play Iowa State, and it's 14-11. Now they get the win, which is impressive. That's why Kansas is a lot better than you think. And then this Iowa State defense is very, very strong. So I think I like the game under. I don't think Iowa State gives me enough, but I certainly think you could take them with 21.5. I think's ridiculous. This is a thought where, look at Texas against Oklahoma. Now, keep in mind, Gabriel got knocked out of the game, and they run it down their throat. Now, keep in mind, Oklahoma has no defense. K-State puts up, 40 on them. TCU puts up 55 on them. We'll see how much Kansas puts up on them, and Texas puts up 49. That's not a good defense. You don't do that against Ohio State. You're not doing it against Iowa. You're not doing it against Clemson. Well, Wake Forest did, but Georgia, 22s. But generally, you're not doing that. So to do it 3 times. So how good is Texas? We'll find out today. Now, if they put up a 40 on Iowa State, then they should be the number 1 team in the country. They did play Alabama good, 20-19. And I think that's what you get today. I think you get a low-scoring under game is what my guess is here. My Z team, UMass, Colorado, Z teams. Colorado State, Louisiana Monroe, possibly New Mexico State. Those are my Z teams, and Hawaii. So I liked Buffalo against weak UMass. I think they're only laying 17. It's a good number. They're pretty explosive last week. Buffalo's scoring. They're an over team. UMass won't. They might score a little, but I think the number's low. I mean, anytime you play the Z team, I think you're looking to lay 30, and to lay 17 down to 11 is just, to me, really low. Cal, Colorado, same thing. Colorado's terrible. Cal, again, they're laying 15. You only got to lay 9. I heard one idiot on the radio again. Oh, I like Colorado because Cal doesn't blow out. I'm like, they don't even understand the concept that Colorado's a Z team. I mean, this is not, they are a terrible team. How could you take them? Yes, Cal's an under team. I get that, but still, that's not what you're looking for. Reed, is Miami worth using in a teaser? Van Dyke is the better quarterback. Absolutely. I think that they've had injuries to the wide receivers, and I watched the highlights versus North Carolina, and they started to look like a team. He threw for 400 yards. Their defense picked North Carolina 3 times. They're playing better. I think the coach wanted to run more, and now he's losing, and now he's realizing, oh, shit, I got Van Dyke. He threw for 400 on North Carolina. So I like him. I think the spread went from 7 to 8. Virginia Tech's kind of weak. I think Miami's doable today. Absolutely. I haven't played them yet, but they're definitely doable. So the Z teams, you really are there because they don't have an offense and don't have a defense. So that's what, if you got any team at all. So Cal's a bit iffy because they don't score a lot. But, against Colorado, it's a conference game. All they got to do is win by 10. It's not a big bet, but I think you could play Cal. NC State, Syracuse, as we talked, NC State's quarterback's out. What happens when you don't have a quarterback? You don't score. You change the game plan to let's run the ball a little bit more and play defense if you have a good defense, which North Carolina State does, as does Syracuse. 2 defensive teams. Without the quarterback, they played Florida State in 1917, and the quarterback maybe got hurt in that game, but that's what you're looking at. So, again, NC State, very strong defense. I think Clemson, I think it was an under game there. I like the game under. Syracuse, good defense. Without the quarterback, with them, maybe I take NC State as the dog, but not in this case. Kent and Toledo, I love Kent's balance on offense, but they've been losing some games. I don't know. They're just not the same as last year. Toledo's the stud in that league. I think Toledo handles them. Georgia, as I talked, I don't know what to do with them. I think I lay 32 before I go under the 63, 57 down to 63. I don't know. It's a tough one to call, really, but I think that, George is definitely probably wants to pound the hell out of Vanderbilt. And judging by the Alabama, see, Vandy beats Hawaii and these little teams, so that makes it look like they're an over team. But against Alabama, it was 55-3, and I got a feeling that it's going to be a little bit worse against Georgia, who's kind of pissed off. They're at home. They haven't really looked good the last few weeks. They look good against Auburn, and that's what scares me is they do a 42-10 to Auburn. Look for look for a 60-point game by them, and they beat them 70-0 last week. So I almost think 32 is the play in this game, not the under. And I always play Georgia under, but this is when you kind of ease off. Again, Alabama, Tennessee, we're over in the game. Tennessee will light them up. Alabama, if Young plays as it looks like, they'll light them up. So this is going to be at least a game in the 40s, which gives you 80. I'm in at 65, so I'm in at 59.5. I don't think there's no problem getting in the 30s with these offenses. Arkansas, BYU laying the 1.5. Jefferson's playing. I think this is take the dog. Both teams are over, but I don't know. BYU hasn't been scoring, so I think I like Arkansas in the 7.5 more than I like over 66 to 60. Let's see. Wisconsin, Michigan State. I'd be leery of Wisconsin on the road. Michigan State, how bad are they? Home dogs. Defense sucks, but Wisconsin, I don't think, can really take advantage of it. They don't have the offense. Where Ohio State, the defense, the secondary sucks. So Ohio State was able to pass all over the field, but they're not playing Ohio State this week. Wisconsin doesn't have the same offense, and they've been scoring on turnovers. So if Michigan State doesn't turn it over, it'll be a close game. Can Michigan State win? I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know. Maybe take Wisconsin minus only 1. I don't know how strong Wisconsin is. They beat very bad teams, and they lost. Illinois shut them out basically. Ohio State killed them. So they're not a great team. They have the defense. I guess the coach got fired, and Jim Leonard's the coach. So who knows here? James Madison, Georgia Southern. James Madison's the 18. That spread's gone up to 12.5, over under 67. I don't know. I mean, Georgia Southern's an over team. They're the Nebraska beater. James Madison's very good. Laying 12 on the road. They got a good defense. So the question is, can Georgia Southern score on them? And I think they can. If they did on Nebraska, I think they can score. So I think this is probably an over, but it's a high over. So be careful. Again, Arizona, Washington, over, the over 72. It's a high over, but these idiots on the radio want to go under. Like, okay, you obviously have no clue what you're doing. You don't bet over teams under. Now it's a high. Now, this is how you play this. We know Washington. They play UCLA to a 72. They're going to play Oregon to an 80. Arizona, high scoring. I think they played Oregon to an 80. You can't play this game under. You either play it over or you watch. That's the key to it. You can't play over teams under. Now, I warned you about Western Kentucky and UTSA last week. I said it was 73 and leave it alone, and they didn't go over. But you can't play it under. You either go over or you watch, and that's what you do here. You either go over or you watch. You don't play an over game like this under. So that's my point. I still think it goes over, but it's hard to do 72 to 66s because when they get to that point, they start running the clock out. You don't get it. So it's got to be a competitive game. But, I can see like a 45. Washington gets in the upper 40s. Does Arizona get 20? That gives you a 62, which doesn't cover, and that could easily be the score. So be careful with that one. There's better overs, like go with the Alabama-Tennessee over. That makes more sense. Rice, Florida Atlantic. Here you go. Over team Rice, over team Florida Atlantic. And here you only got a 55. This is a much better over. You got good teams. Rice just beat somebody. I think they beat UAB or something. I think 28-24. So this is definitely a strange play here. So I'm not sure why the over-under is low, but I definitely like this over. Two strong over teams with strong, weak defenses, and it's only a 55. So all you need is 50 points. You don't even need 30 to 20, and you got it. And with these teams, you should easily get that. Both are explosive. I don't see any injuries, so that's a better over than the Arizona-Washington because it's 55 instead of 72. South Alabama, I like against Louisiana Monroe, who's kind of a Z team. They played Coastal Carolina 28-21. As I said, Coastal Carolina's got like 4 running backs out, so it makes it difficult for McCall. But South Alabama, they're the ones that went to UCLA in 32-31, lost on a last-second field goal. And it's funny how that'll be it. And then UCLA runs the table because they beat Washington, they beat Utah, and now they got USC coming up. But had they lost, they'd be out of it. But because they beat them, even though they beat them by 1, winning those 3 games, they'll put them in the playoffs. So I'd like to see UCLA in the playoff. They are freaking explosive as hell. I'd love to see them and the Oak State TCU winner in the playoff because they deserve to be in the playoff. They're very good. So's Oregon. So's Washington's not. Utah's very good. USC. That's the problem with the playoffs. I mean, you got plenty of playoff teams that would beat Alabama, and they don't get the chance. Clemson, Florida State. Again, I like Clemson there. Just they look good. I don't like the quarterback, but they're finding ways to score, so I like that. Notre Dame, Stanford, I don't know. Notre Dame laying 16.5. Stanford's a weird team, weird offense, running a read option, but it takes like 10 minutes to pull the ball from the running back, reading the safety. That's what Baylor used to do. But I don't know. No, I think Notre Dame gets them here. North Carolina, Duke. I like North Carolina. This is a rivalry game. This is Michigan, Ohio State for North Carolina and Duke. So they'll pull out all the stops. I don't like over 68. Duke's really an under defense. North Carolina played Miami 27-24. So I think everybody's looking at that App State game going, it was 66-65. They're an over team. And I think if you took that game away, they're probably a B team, North Carolina. So I don't like the over here. I do like North Carolina going to Miami and beating Van Dyke, threw a few interceptions. I definitely like them. USC Utah, 3.5. Utah's in black uniforms. They normally wear red, and it's a whiteout night game. This game's going to be explosive. A lot of points in this game. I'm afraid to take SC as the dog because Utah might just really bury them. So we'll see. USC sometimes against Oregon State didn't show up. Looked good against Washington State. So we'll see what happens. I think this definitely gets into the 40s score-wise. Washington State, Oregon State, Chase Nolan, Oregon State's quarterback's out. Without him, they didn't look very good. Washington State, outstanding defense, which nobody knows about. So this is a good under game without Nolan. Washington State, last week they beat they beat Cal like 28-7. That's what I expect here. Air Force, Vegas quarterback out. So Air Force maybe finally gets going. And San Jose, Fresno State doesn't have Hayner. San Jose State's been playing well. I look for San Jose State there. Hey, Bobby Bo. Now just going through the lines. Looks like the Texas quarterback or the Oklahoma quarterback might play based on the line movement and Bryce Young. So that's all we got. John told me that I was better off finding a spit in Tampa for the silver. So I found a place and just purchased the 10-ounce bar. Find a spit in Tampa. Did he not have your silver? I don't understand. Told me that I was. Who's John? John told me. A spit in Tampa for the silver. Was it a spot in Tampa? Who's John? Is John from my store? Did he not hold it for you? I'm kind of confused here. So you called, they were holding it. Oh, you meant Brian. So Brian told you to find a place in Tampa. Did he not have it for you or what? I mean, were you able to find? Sounds like you found a place in Tampa that had it. Maybe they had the Buffaloes that I showed you. So I'm just confused. Did he not? Well, why didn't he sell it to you? Or was there a shipping problem? Or I don't know. I'll have to go in and talk to him, see what's going on. But, as long as you got the silver, that's good. And if you can get coins too and gold, if you can still find it. But it's getting very, very sparse. very hard to find. So that's basically it. Any questions? You can buy the week for $100. So I got 3 locks in, I think in college. Yeah, I got 3 locks in college, and I might have 4 locks in the pros. So it'll be a big lock weekend. He did, but kept saying that until it'll cost me more to ship. So the shipping price is up. Okay, so that's what he's trying to help you. So his shipping in Alabama last year was $15, not a big deal, but I was buying gold and silver. So what he's saying is, so his shipping to you must be very expensive, probably with the fuel. So, okay, so what he's saying is he's trying to say if you can find it there, buy it there. You don't have to pay for shipping, and you shouldn't pay sales tax. So keep that in mind. Anybody buying gold or silver, there's no tax. It's money. You don't pay tax on money. It's just like if you bought a euro, you don't pay tax on it. Anyway, so I'm glad you got some. Okay, so good. So get more. Again, $100 for the week. 3 college locks. Looks like 4 pro locks. I've already posted a ton. I might add I don't know what to do with the over in the OK Kansas game. If Gabriel is playing, then it is an over, but I think the game's at noon, so I can't add it to the site because it's already. Let's see what time the game's at. So this game is at that's a noon game. I can't add it. It's already 11:15. Now I might add a night game tonight to this, but right now I won't add it. So we will see what happens. But anyway, that's what's happening. Yeah, I think Kansas should be favored in the game, to tell you the truth. This defense on Oklahoma their defense sucks. And what do we know about Kansas? Their offense is great. Now, their quarterback's out, Daniels, but the backup Bean lit up TCU last week. So I'm liking their backup is fine, and I think people are overplaying the fact that the quarterback's out. Hey, Jay Brady, what's your analysis about Ohio? Well, I probably covered it Thursday. I didn't go through every game today, just time permitting. Ohio, I liked. I have them 14-point favorites. Western got killed by Eastern. And here comes Ohio, and the spread's basically even. And I don't see an injury. I think Ohio is fine. They're an over team, and Western's a W team. So the better team's Ohio in this, and it's even. So I don't you get Ohio in 6 or even 5, I don't see Western blowing them out. A big game with Eastern, and Eastern blew them out. So I think Ohio scores, and you're getting 6. I think the line should be Ohio -7, and it's even. So I like Ohio here. Oklahoma got a terrible combination of bad defense and bad offense. Well, Oklahoma, you can add bad coach to that. The guy's never coached before. He brings in a guy for UCF, so Gabriel's comfortable. Gabriel looks good. So their offense is okay. Gabriel got hurt against TCU, so he doesn't play against Texas. He doesn't play the second half against TCU. However, their defense sucks. And you think the play calling would have changed to let's run the ball a little bit more. We don't have a quarterback. The backup obviously sucks. So if Gabriel does play, okay, they'll score a little bit, but their defense is terrible. Kansas State lit them up, right? So they lost to Kansas State. What was that score? Week 5. Kansas State beats them 37. Oh, no, that was Texas Tech. Go back a week. Kansas State, Oklahoma. Where is that? Yeah, Texas Tech beat Texas, and Kansas State beat Oklahoma the same weekend. Where is that? Okay, oh, here it is. Kansas State beats them 41-34. So they give up 41 to Kansas State, who's not a good offense, 57 to TCU, and then 49 to Texas. So how can you make this team favored? They're they're a terrible defense. What does Kansas do? They score. Now, even it's 10-3 at half last week. There's no way I win that over. And I win the over because I get 5 touchdowns in the third quarter. I get the backup Bean getting us to 31. So he gets 4 touchdowns in the second half and leaves him at the 20-yard line going in to tie the game up. He looked fine. It's more the system at Kansas, very well coached. I think their defense is better than you think. Holding TCU to 38, I think, I don't know if Oak State can do that today. I hope not, because I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But again, I actually have Kansas as 7-point favorites. That was assuming Gabriel didn't play. But with Gabriel, it's probably a 3-point favorite. It should be no more than 3 points, and it's 9.5. So I get 15 in Kansas. I'll do that all day. But I don't. The coach just looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, and that's the thing. You get these coordinators. At least I'll give Oklahoma credit. He's a defensive coordinator, unlike the Lions, Detroit, who brings in a guy who's never coached before, who was a tight end coach, not even like an offensive coordinator. The guy coached the tight ends. What is this guy? What are you doing with this guy? So that's what I see, which makes me very leery about it. So I don't know. I just think that it's a thing of where I don't really see it. So anyway, that's what I think about it. So if Kansas wins, then I think they're the better team, actually. The problem is the brand, right? Oh, it's Oklahoma. No, not this year. Oklahoma's not good. You got to look at the games, right? So Kansas is the better team here. And the fact Daniels isn't the quarterback and Bean doesn't matter because we just saw against TCU, who's a much better team than Oklahoma, which they showed. There you go. The line keeps moving. Which game, Jay? The Ohio line? Give me more specifics. The line moves all the time. That's what I keep telling people. Oklahoma's 10-65. Yeah, that's what it was. 9.5, 10, 65. Are you talking Ohio? I mean, the lines will move a lot right now. That's why I do this Saturday morning show. I got Western Michigan. I got Western Michigan now 1.5. So take Ohio State and 7.5. It's a good bet. Yeah, the more you can get with Ohio, the better. But who knows why? See, now it's more math, and math doesn't work. But I understand math doesn't work. You can't analyze this with math. You can't say if the line's 73, I go under, but if it's 69, I go over. It doesn't work. You don't know the teams. Over teams, explosive teams, I'm betting them over, or if the over's too high, I'm not. Like Georgia, I'm not betting Georgia over. I either lay 32 or I watch the game. I don't fuck with the over on the Georgia Vandy game, although it might be the one over because Georgia's going to score 60 by themselves and Vandy might get a 10 and screw the under. But I'm not playing I never played Georgia over. Even against Alabama, I played it under. So yeah, get it in. Understand your game. Understand what you want. You want Ohio. Then tease the dog. You get 1.5. You get 7.5. It's gold. Ohio should win the game. I don't see an injury to Ohio. I don't know if I'll catch a new injury, but let's look at the injuries. So again, I'm on covers.com for injuries. And it's good for the pros too. It's fairly accurate, but again, you want the line. So let's see Ohio. A lot of ends. Okay, Ohio. The running back's out for the season with the shoulder on September 1st. So they've been playing without this guy. Not a problem. And then this is what? Western Michigan. It's easy to go down to the W's. And Western Michigan, no injury. So this isn't an injury thing. I think you have no problem with Ohio in 7.5. They're a better team. They're an over team. Their quarterback's fine. I don't really see any problem with Ohio. I liked Ohio laying 1 and getting 5. I thought that was a good. Again, I got Ohio minus 14. So that's probably they should win easily. So that's where you go, Jay. So tease Ohio if you like. Again, the free pick is the Alabama-Tennessee over. It looks like Bryce Young's playing. And Kansas getting the 15.5, 16 from Oklahoma. It looks like Gabriel might be playing. Again, he's still questionable. But let's say he is playing. We got the backup for Kansas who looked perfectly fine against TCU. He's probably better because he's more of a drop back passer. So he lit up. And they have this tight end, Fairchild. Now, if you see Fairchild out, you run from Kansas. He's like the Notre Dame tight end. This guy is freaking – he should be a first-round draft pick. This guy's very strong, Fairchild. So as long as he's there, they run it well. They have a very strong offense. It's got to be the coach or the coordinator who brought in this new offense, and they're just lighting it up. So Oklahoma will not stop them. They'll be lucky to win the game. Definitely, you got 15 points. They beat Iowa State, who's really a good win because they're a very strong defensive team. So beating them is let's see if Texas can beat them. I don't know that Texas beats Iowa State today. I think they're going to have the hangover. Here's where your flat after the big game is going to come in. Texas beats Oklahoma sky high, 49-0, full of emotion. Here comes Iowa State. Do you really get up for Iowa State? Now, if this is TCU or Oak State, they're up. How do you get up for Iowa State? You can't, but Iowa State, you might as well just take the state off and call them Iowa. You're playing Iowa. Good luck on that defense. They got just as good a defense, only they got a better offense than Iowa does. But Iowa's got 4 wide receivers hurt. That's why Iowa is such a weak offense this year. But Iowa State, they're okay. They can move the ball, but they play low. They played what? Kansas State 11-10. Kansas State put up 40 points on Oklahoma, 11 on Iowa State. Kansas is scoring all over. They get 14 on Iowa State. So Texas will be lucky to get to 20 here. This is actually a very good under game because it's like a 50 and you go under 56. Where's that going to come from? How are you going to get 56? They're not playing Oklahoma's defense. This is the problem everybody has. They look at last week's game and assume that's what's going to happen. And that's why I keep telling you it's poker. Pocket aces this hand doesn't give you pocket aces next hand. It's each hand's independent, like dice. Each roll's independent. Doesn't matter what happened. I threw a 6. Okay, I might not throw another 6. I might throw an 8. I might throw a 7. It doesn't matter that I threw the 6. The only thing I disagree with that is roulette. If red keeps coming up, I keep playing red until black hits. That's the only thing I kind of, even though it's independent, it just, red keeps happening. I keep betting red. But otherwise, they're not playing Oklahoma's defense this week. And they're not going to be sky high. And they're playing a very strong Iowa State defense. Good luck scoring. Now, all they got is really the running back. I bet he doesn't get 100 yards today because Iowa State will take the running back away. The backup quarterback isn't that strong. They're going to struggle to get to 20. Iowa State's going to struggle to get to 10. I don't know how strong Texas's defense is. Again, it was against Oklahoma's backup. And Texas Tech beat them 31-30 or 33-31. So look at Texas Tech beats Texas. So really they don't have that strong of a defense. That's what it is. And then it'll show you Iowa State can move on them, but this is definitely an under. So that's what you're looking at, under an NC State Syracuse. Clemson, Florida State might be an under, but I like Clemson. Mississippi State, Kentucky. Now that's an over because Mississippi State's over because you got the quarterback back. Arkansas, BYU. Again, I got to be careful there. I like Ark as the dog, but I like the game over, but it's 66 is too much. But I'm not going to go under. You don't go under 72 in this game. You go either over 60 or you take Arkansas, but you don't play an over game under. You know, it doesn't really. It's not a smart bet. It's not. Oh, this you can't tell me the line is that perfect. It's 70, so they will go 67, and you know that's how I'm going to bet it because I feel it'll be 67. You don't look at the number, you look at the team, and then you look at the number if it makes sense. That's why you pick the score blindly. Who's going to win? Tulane, South Florida, give me a score, boom. Or Kansas, Oklahoma, give me a score of the game. I can see Kansas easily winning 45-30. Now I look at the line, they're getting 15.5 in a teaser. The over-under 65. Well, if Gabriel plays, I probably play it over, but do I see in any realm, do I see Oklahoma 45-10? No way in any realm before the game, as we got to bet it, do I see that score. So therefore, the score I see is Kansas winning the game, or it's a 3-point game because their backup's good. He showed you that against TCU. So I have full confidence in the backup. I have no confidence in Oklahoma's defense. It doesn't just get better. The offense can lose the quarterback and he's back, okay? But look at Fresno State. They lose the quarterback, they're fucked. They're done. So a good team, you can lose the quarterback and get them back and fix it. The defense is shot. You can't fix it. You're playing your best defensive guys. Now, unless 7 of them are injured and they all come back, which I don't see, you can't fix the defense now. You need new players and a new system, which you don't have. He's running his Clemson system, I guess, which doesn't work. So you can't fix it. The Gabriel being back, they might score some more points, but that's about it. I'm not even sure they will. I don't think they're better than TCU, and Kansas played TCU 10-3 at half. So give Kansas some credit. They're a better team than you think. We've jumped on them because we've seen what happened. We got the proof from the Iowa State game and the TCU game that, whoa, this team – is very, very strong. And I'll hear people say they're not good, they're Kansas. And I'm like, oh, you're not watching the same game I am. So that's what you look for. USC, Utah will be a great game. Should be very high scoring. As the Oak State TCU game should be a very good game, very high scoring. That's about Washington State, Oregon State. Chase Nolan's out. NC State's quarterback's out. So figure those under because the quarterback's out. San Jose State, it's got Fresno State, quarterback's out. Fresno State can't score. They lost to fucking Connecticut. I don't think I need to say anymore. You lose to Connecticut, I don't think you're – now this is a rivalry game, but San Jose State's been lighting it up. Fresno State, I mean, without the quarterback, they can't replace them. They're done. And a new coach and a new system, it's just, that's it. So – any questions, comments? I think we went through the lines, the games. We went through the games Thursday. Free pick, Alabama, Tennessee over, and Kansas plus the 15 are the free picks. I'll do a pro tomorrow. 4 locks tomorrow, I believe. And I got 2 locks. I got 2 locks in college. I don't know if I have 3. I might have 3. I can't remember if I locked the third one. I know I got the 2. I would have locked. There was other few games I thought about locking. I don't think I did. And then Kansas, Oklahoma. Had Gabriel been healthy, I probably would have locked it over. It was like 62, but now it's 65, and I've already played Kansas, so I'm not going to put a lock on that one. Outside of that, I think that's about it. Michigan, Penn State should be a good game. It's a tease the dog game. Not a lot of tease the dog games. Maybe Texas, Iowa State, really a tease the dog. Maybe Oak State, TCU is a tease the dog. Arkansas, BYU, tease the dog. tease the dog, I mean, just take whoever the dog is, bet them. It's an even game. Alabama, Tennessee. I'm close to teasing the dog there. I'm close to taking Tennessee in 15, but the over is so much more attractive because Tennessee scores. Tennessee's going to be in all black again tonight. Tennessee's going to score on Alabama. This is not going to be, they got 3 points. Tennessee is for real this year. Look for this to be very high scoring, but look for this. Tennessee can certainly beat Alabama. They looked weak against A&M. I think they looked weak against Texas, right? 20-19 against Texas. TCU put up 33, or Texas Tech put up 33. Wait till TCU plays Texas and puts up the 50. So Alabama just doesn't look right right now. I don't love their quarterback. He wants to run too much. Then he hurts his shoulder. Hello, this is my point. These running quarterbacks, they get hurt, and then you can't play with them, right? You can't just throw another guy in a quarterback. You got a good quarterback. He doesn't run. You wait. I'm hoping Josh Allen gets hurt this weekend. That'll teach him to not slide. You got to respect the game. You got to slide. You don't slide, you're going to lose your knee or your shoulder. And Kansas City's out for blood, so look for them to take care of them. But anyway, that's what happens when your quarterback runs. He gets hurt. And now, same thing. Oklahoma quarterback got hurt running. He was actually sliding when he got hurt. But Bryce Young got hurt. I don't know if he got hurt getting sacked or what, but you don't run. TCU's quarterback runs, but I think he slides. So anyway, that's what we have. Any questions or comments? www.teaserking.com. You can still get everything if you sign up now, even if you sign up a little later. Again, 3 locks going today, 4 locks tomorrow. If you just want the pros, sign up for the pros. If you don't buy today, don't buy the locks tomorrow. If you want the locks, just buy the locks. You need them now for today's. But if you want to buy the lock, if you're going to play tomorrow, just play the pros. Then you get every game. And again, been red hot in college. 16-2, 17-2 the last few weeks. 10-0, 13-1. I don't think I've had a bad week in college. It's been pretty much what I expect with my over-under analytical part of it. It's been beautiful. I've been, not when I get a good under team, like Kansas against an over defense in Oklahoma, I feel good. I'm not messing with a strong defense with Kansas as we did with the Iowa State. Then I didn't play it over. I did play Kansas because Iowa State's a weak favorite. So there's many different methods you can use. It's a weak favorite as a Z team. Tease the dog in an even game. Go over with 2 strong overs. Go under with 2 strong unders. So you've got to understand the team. And the best way is to see them against like Michigan, Penn State. I don't think Michigan's that good because they struggled with Maryland. They really struggled with Indiana. They are a running team, and I don't know if they can run on Penn State. If Penn State takes the run away and they have to pass to beat them, Penn State wins the game. This is a game I've teased the dog in. They will definitely – Penn State wins if they hold. And I'm not sure Michigan's defense – they struggled against Maryland. Indiana drove the ball. Iowa, what do you expect from Iowa? And then they played 3 Z teams in the beginning, Colorado State, Hawaii. So you get nothing on them, just playing time. So anyway, so we'll learn a lot more. I still think Ohio State's going to kill Michigan. That could be just a super lock. I'm expecting Ohio State to be 17-point favorites in the game. Anything under that, that's a lock anyway. Ohio State's going to kill them. Ohio State's got blood in their eyes. Look for Ohio State to run the table. They're off today, but they just killed Michigan State. And then be careful with Michigan State. Michigan State always plays them tough. They beat them last year. Look out. Just Michigan State stinks, but somehow they get up for Michigan and beat them. So be careful in that. And that's a Michigan State rivalry. It's not a Michigan rivalry. Their rival's Ohio State. So keep that in mind You got Duke, North Carolina is a rivalry. But again, North Carolina, they're on a roll. They look good. They got a very good quarterback. Their defense is much improved. Duke's falling away. They lost to Kansas. They lost to somebody else. Not very good teams. They haven't really played a strong. They haven't played the Clemsons, Miami's, North Carolina. They haven't played those good teams yet. They beat Northwestern, I think. Northwestern, and they lost to Kansas. So that's what you got there. But anyway, Clemson's playing better. So just keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the defense. My advice is go on YouTube. They're all highlights, right? Just go on and type in, UCLA, Utah. It'll bring up the highlights, 15, 20 minutes, and walks you through the game, and you can see what happened. And that's all you need to know. You watch the defense, and it's weird how these teams, in the pros especially, that, they like, all of a sudden Atlanta's got an offense with Mariota, and you're like, what the fuck? But you see it in the little highlight film, what they're doing, and that's what you're looking for. Who is it? How's their quarter? I really look to see the quarterbacks. So I'll watch Rice, Florida Atlantic to get an idea of what am I dealing with. Rice does have a good quarterback. Florida Atlantic, I know from Miami, Perry. So that's the key. How good's their quarterback? And then you move from there. So like I learned Navy yesterday, hey, they're throwing the ball pretty well. Army's trying to throw the ball, but they're struggling. They're getting away from their just run the ball 90 times a game. And I'm not sure they should. But give Navy credit. They are playing better, although they got 14 points late. They were 40-20 with about 4 minutes left, so keep that in mind. So that's all you can do is watch the games, try to learn the team, overs, unders, A's or Z's. We bet against the weakness. That's the key to us. And when we got even teams, we dog it. And when we got two good, strong over teams with two good, strong quarterbacks, AKA Alabama, Tennessee, we jump it over. We don't. Now it's 9. I'm not fucking with Alabama -3 in this game. Tennessee's very, very strong offensively. They can easily win this game. I'm not a big Tennessee. I'm not hypnotized by Alabama that they're the greatest thing. When I saw them play Texas to 20-19, they needed to win at the end. And then against A&M without a quarterback last week, no, Alabama, there's something wrong with them this year. Tennessee easily can win this game. Hey, Andrew, what's going on in Canada? Have you been locked out of your bank yet? Have you bought your gold and silver? Or has Carrie? Was the lock? I can't give you the lock. I'll give you the free play. The free play is Alabama, Tennessee over with Kansas. Hey, Major James, how's everything today? I hope you're well. Again, the free play is Alabama, Tennessee over with Kansas. What do you mean, come on? I got people buying locks. I'm going to give it to you for free. They'll all get mad at me. They're going to say, well, why should I buy it if you're giving it for free? So I got football is a big different animal than baseball. Football you got to pay for. So I'm giving you the free one. So just think Alabama, Tennessee overs the lock with Kansas. How about that if you play the teaser? I mean, if you don't play the teaser, it doesn't matter. So what's going on in Canada? Banks are the banks closed yet? I bought a Maple Leaf, a 1 ounce gold Maple Leaf. It was $100 cheaper than the American, so I appreciate that. Anyway, stay out of. Do you test the weight of the silver bar? No, it's authentic. Where I buy them at the store, I trust them. I don't need to test the weight, but if you are new to the store, you can certainly test the weight. The way to test gold is bring a magnet. If the gold sticks, if I had a magnet and this stuck, just a second, I got a magnet. I'll show you. So here's my magnet. It's on the back of this can opener right here. If this were to stick, this would be fake gold. But you can see it's not sticking, right? So because this gets repelled, this is real. If this magnet goes on to the gold and it sticks, it's fake. I don't know what to do with silver. I mean, if you buy the bar like I did and it shows the 10 ounce 999 silver, and my store actually gives you that certificate, it is definitely silver, then you got nothing to worry about. As far as it being 10 ounces, if you'd like, weigh it just to confirm that your store is reputable. My store is very reputable. Oh, well, I mean, you can still weigh it. I mean, you can weigh a 1 ouncer, but it says 1 ounce on it. I don't know anybody's going to, like, if you want to sell it, I don't think anybody's going to weigh it. I think if you give them the coin or you give them the bar and it says 10 ounces, then it's pretty clear that that's what you got. So, oh, that's good. I see a lot of Queen Elizabeth stuff have been removed. He said I should keep it on box. What does that mean? Keep it on box. Talk to me. What does that mean, Vanilla? That's good you buy from the Mint, Andrew. Then you know what you're getting. Oh, he did weigh it. Okay. Didn't it say 10 ounces on the back? Didn't it have that authenticity thing? Or did it at least say 10 ounces of silver? So you got to know your store and make sure that you trust them. He weighed it in the box. Why didn't he take it out of the box? Like I showed you, right? Here it is. And weigh it. So I don't know what. So he gave it to you in a box, and you weighed the box, and in the box it weighed 10 ounces. Why didn't he just take it out of the box? Well, the 999s should be on it. Here, hold on. Let me get it. All right, so it says 10 ounces. It says 9999. So I know this is 10 ounces of silver. And then it's got this. Didn't yours have this silver certificate on it, which proves that it is real? So it's been tested. So I don't have to test it. And it clearly says 10 ounces. So if I go to sell this, it's clear it's 10 ounces. Now, no, I didn't weigh it, but I'm not really worried about it. The certificate says it weighs 10 ounces. So it's been certified and it does weigh 10. I don't need to go to the store and weigh it, but this is what it should look like, Vanilla. If it doesn't, then I don't know what you bought, but it should say 10 ounce silver, 999. And this is, well, it says metals. It says, I don't know, whoever a saver nadar is, I don't know. But that's my point. This is exactly, everything's there. 10 ounce silver, 999. 999.9. That's should be clear on the coin or bar. All bullions are gone. Yeah, because they're cheaper. All you want now is to buy an ounce, right? I bought 10 ounces of silver. That's all I cared about. It didn't have to be a Liberty or a Maple Leaf. We have both, but they're $35 an ounce. This was $23 an ounce. I paid $230 for a 10 ounce bar. I want the silver. That's the money. That's the survival, not that it has to be American or Canadian. He has a good reputation from what I read, but he said it keeps it in good shape if kept in the box. And take it out later on, though. Now, I keep mine. I showed you in that plastic, right? So maybe this is what you're talking about. So, I mean, this is 20, right? I got 20 ounces in here of a silver. And that's what I keep it in. But I'm not worried about condition. It's silver. And I'm certainly not worried about gold. So this is where mine's stored, right? And I just have it in a box. This is in a little flat, but I'm not worried about, as long as it's 20, I got 21 ounces in here. I'm not, what do I care? You're not buying condition. You're buying an ounce of silver. That's the value is the weight. It's silver, and it says it on the coin. Like all these coins. Well, here you go. Here's a Canadian one for you, Andrew. See, good old Canadian. And here's the queen. Is it now worth a lot more because she's died and this is good? But all I care about, it says $1, 2015, and on the back it says 999, and it says fine silver 1 ounce, and that's really all I care about. So there you go. The queen's getting more valuable. I'm going to go hand this in when it hits 2,000 an ounce and say, give me 2,000. And I paid my rent or whatever I need. I don't care. It's in good. It's an ounce of silver. That's all I care about. That it's an ounce of silver. That's it. But I want it to be a coin. It's got some value, but really, if you really want the value, what does it say? It's worth. This is worth $5, which I guess is Canadian dollars. So I'm not buying it for $5. I'm buying it that it's worth, at this point, well, fuck the COMEX. Let's say it's worth about $500 now. It'll be, let's say, $2,000. So when it's worth $2,000 and it won't be on COMEX, that's what I want for it. But I don't even know if there'll be dollars to trade it in for. It'll be a new currency or whatever they're going to be trading it in. Keep in mind the currencies to go to the grocery store, to go to the restaurant, as a way of medium of exchange. Here, I'm going to give you something. And again, it was tulips, and it was, normally it's gold because you can't fuck around with it, but it was tulips at some point. It was cows, it was grain. They just went to money. They went to paper, but it's really so you can get paid, take it and go buy gas and go buy food and buy clothes and pay your bills. That's the point of the fiat currency. And then this holds the value. You can't print it. That's the difference in it. He let me hold some coins. So over 60 in Tennessee. Yeah, go over 60. That'll be that's halftime score, I think. And Kansas, take Kansas in 15 if you tease it. Yeah. So there's your free one, Andrew. This is how I store it, right? This is it. I store it. It's in the safe. Boom. That's it. Goodbye. That's all I do with it. The gold I have in the little casino chip containers. So the gold. So these, you see these coin holders. So I keep them for my casino chips, but I also put my gold in it. So every gold ounce that I have is in one of these chips for protection. Really, because I just like them. I don't, I could easily put the gold in here if I wanted to and just take them out of this, put them in that, and off I go. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that later. Right now, they're just in the safe, and that's all I can do with them. I'm thinking of buying brass and putting that in the safe. And then if the shit really hits the fan and somebody comes in and robs me, they'll rob brass. I got that from Money Heist, and put the gold somewhere else. Right. So they're going to look for the safe, then you can have it. And you can steal my brass. That's worthless. So let's see. Yeah. Well, that's the point. The central banks and the banks are buying all the bullion up because they know. So if you don't know anything, and I don't know anything, you don't think I know anything, just look what the banks are doing. Why does China own 23,000 to 25,000 tons of gold? Why does Russia own 15,000 tons of gold? Why would they waste their money on it if it's worthless? We all know Putin's a little crazy, but he's not stupid. So if he buys gold, then at least you're like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. He can't fight a war, but this guy knows, he buys gold. So if you just see that, and all the central banks in Europe are buying gold, everybody but the U.S., because they want to say we have dollars. They probably can't, because they probably have the dollars. I mean, there's so much going on we don't know, but they buy the dollars, and they want the dollar. See, they're a monopoly because they're the only. They got the main dollar. They don't want competition. So it all goes back to JP fucking Morgan. We don't want competition. We want to be the only one. We can charge whatever we want. We don't have everybody wants no competition. I want no competition. I want to be the only guy handicapping, but I'm not. So I got to prove it to you, and I got to teach you, and I got to say, and then you go, either he's good or he's not good, or this guy's better or Howard's better. Then that's what we're doing. And then you choose what to do from there. So that's really the point of it. So we'll go from there. But let me go. So game time. Okay, well, enjoy the game. I'll let everybody go. So right now we got the Kansas game on. Alabama, I think, is tonight. Good luck. www.teaserking.com. Vanilla. If you want me, just go there and you'll get my email, and then you can email me with your questions. So you're not trapped to having to see me here, then, because I'll check my email the whole day anyway. So please do that. Anybody else? Again, this is a big weekend. Probably 7 locks, for sure 3 college. And I believe I've already posted 2 locks in the pros, so that's 7 games. Anyway, good luck. Let me know if you have questions. I should be good. I think I posted everything, and I think we're all set. So good luck to everybody today. Have a great day. And www.teaserking.com. You can buy. You can, if you want to talk about a price or a discount, or if you want to just ask questions, get my email, please feel free to do that. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed class.